Hello all and welcome to this hands-on lab. In our lab today, we will learn how to perform CRUD operations in Amazon Keyspaces using the CQL Editor. Before we continue further ahead, a couple of things to keep in mind. AWS services used in this lab can incur charges. Hence, ensure that you clean up all resources after completing this lab. Prerequisites for our tutorial today. Knowledge of Amazon Keyspaces is a must. Hence, if you do not know what this service is all about, please refer to this overview tutorial that I had created some time back. Link to the tutorial is mentioned right here at the bottom. Scenario for our lab today. You need to create an Amazon Keyspace and a table. And after your Keyspace and table are created, you need to perform basic CRUD operations using the CQL Editor. So it's a pretty straightforward scenario. First you need to create your Keyspace, then your table, and then insert data into your table, and then perform CRUD operations. If you do not know what CRUD stands for, C stands for create, R stands for read, U stands for update, and D stands for delete. So you have to perform all of these operations on this data using the CQL Editor. And not only on this data, after you've performed operations, CRUD operations on your data, finally you need to delete your table and delete your Keyspace as well. So it's a pretty simple and a straightforward scenario. Reference URLs. So keep this particular URL handy, right? In fact, I have this URL open right here as well. So this is the tutorial from Amazon, right? And the reason I'm sharing this particular link is because if you visit this particular tutorial, you will see that the steps are mentioned right here, both using the console and the CQL Editor. Especially if you are using the CQL Editor, you can copy your SQL statements right from here. So there is, if you see over here, there's a create Keyspace statement, right? You can just copy, clicking on this particular icon and go further ahead. So this will make it easier for you to practice. Step 1. You need to ensure that your user has access to Amazon Keyspaces. Now you can go ahead and check your access. Remember, you will need full access because you have to perform CRUD operations. If your user does not have full access, then go ahead and add this particular existing policy to your user. The policy name is Amazon Keyspaces Full Access. Add this policy to your user. Step 2 is to create a Keyspace. So these are the steps using the console. Right, so go to Keyspaces, click on create space, give us Keyspace name, look at the query that is generated at the bottom and click on create Keyspace. Right, the other option is to use the CQL Editor, and that's what we are going to do in this particular lab. So this is the create Keyspace statement, and once we execute this statement, after that we will verify if our Keyspace was created successfully using this particular select statement. So let us go to Amazon Keyspaces right here. Click on Keyspaces. Now if you want to go ahead and do or basically follow the console statement steps, click on create Keyspace, give a Keyspace name and click on create Keyspace and your Keyspace will be created. But since we are going to use the CQL Editor, click on CQL Editor right here, right? And go to the tutorial link that I shared with you and go over there and copy this create Keyspace statement from there. Paste it right here and click on run command. As you see, our command was executed successfully. If you click on Keyspaces, you should be able to see our Keyspace right there. So this was our verification or confirmation using the console.
But if you want to verify whether your key space was created using the CQL editor, then scroll down and click on and copy this particular select statement, right? So again, go back to your CQL editor, paste it right there, and we are going to check if our key space has been created. So select star from system underscore schema dot keyspaces. Run the command, and you will see all the different key spaces right here. This is our key space right here at the bottom. So we have completed step 2 successfully. Step 3 is to create a table. Now these steps are again using the console. One thing to keep in mind if you're using the console, that you will have to actually provide the table name, the schema information, the column information, right? Select the partition key, etc., etc. So as long as you're willing to type all of this out in that table format, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, simply just use the create table statement, right? So again, go back over here to our tutorial. Creating a table is right here. Scroll down, go to using CQL, and copy this create table statement from here. Go back to our SQL editor and paste it right there. So we are creating this particular employees table, right? These are the various columns as part of our table. This is our primary key, and the clustering is happening on the division column in an ascending manner. Our primary key is based on ID and division, as you see here, right? So let us go ahead and execute this particular command. So click on run command. Our statement was executed successfully. If you click on tables, you will see that the table is created successfully as well. Click on the table name and you will be able to see the partition key, the clustering columns, and all the other columns as well. Right? So we actually got our confirmation using the console. So we've completed step 3. But let's say if you want to verify your table creation and your table schema using the CQL editor, then these are the select statements for that. So let us go ahead and execute those statements as well. So if you scroll further down, you will see over here where, there is a select statement to verify whether your table was created successfully or not. Copy this particular statement, go back to your CQL editor and paste it right there. Run the command, and as you see, this is our table right here. Our table was created successfully. And the second thing that we need to do is verify our table structure. So whether the columns were created in the right manner and the data types were selected appropriately. So click on this particular statement again, paste it right there, right? Run the command, and you will be able to see the table structure right here. So this is our clustering key, this is a partition key, right? And these are our regular columns, right? So hopefully uh, this was clear. Awesome. So our step 4 is complete. Step 5 is to insert and read data in our table. So this is the insert statement, and this is how you insert data. Basically, insert into key space name, table name, right? Comma separated column names, values, and comma separated values. This is an example right here. For this particular tutorial, what we will do is we will use this particular insert statement, right? Change the ID, change a couple of values, and create multiple records. So this is very important, right? Because we need a few records in our table. And once our records have been inserted, then we will check if they were inserted successfully or not. Now, over here, we are inserting data manually. But if you want to do a bulk insert, you can do that as well, right? So if you go back over here to our CRUD operation step to click on create, this is the insert statement right there, right? But if you scroll down, if you want to insert multiple records, you can use this sample data.zip file, right? And then use this particular copy command to copy data from that particular file and have it inserted in your table as well. Okay, so let us insert one record at a time for this particular lab. So this is our insert statement. I'm going to click on run command and it should be inserted successfully. Now remember that we need to basically create some sample data, right? So I'm going to create or insert couple of records, right? So make it UK, and let's make it what? Detective, and click on run command. Okay, now insert maybe one more record, right? And we will change the name to Henry and we'll make him move him to US, and let's change his division to, I don't know, architecture or something like that. Ensure that the commas are and your quotes are correct, right? So I think we are good. Click on run command and a command was executed successfully. So we have inserted a total of 3 records. Now let us confirm that. So click on the select statement, copy that, right? And so you've copied the select statement successfully. Run, click on run command. Okay, it's saying, what is it saying? Oh, we've not given the key space name, so I'm just going to copy that. In fact, let's just copy this particular statement, that will be easier. So if you get these errors, right, ensure that you have the key space name. So over here in this particular statement, because they have provided use at the top, they had not provided the key space name here. But if you copy this particular statement, it has a key space name in it. So let us execute this, right? And these are the 3 records that we have inserted in our table. Now you can go ahead and download the results as a CSV. You can view the results in a JSON format as well. But for this particular lab, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply just copy this data and paste it right here, right? And the reason why I'm doing this is because remember that we still need to read, update, and delete data. So for that, I will need certain references, right? Like, okay, this is the primary ID, or this is the division, or any other column that I would like to change. So I'm just keeping this data handy for my own reference, right? If you remember the values, you don't need to do this, but I'm just keeping it handy for my own reference. Okay. So we completed step 5. Now step 6 is to update the data. So we will update one of the records, right? Whatever it could be with ID this or ID so and so ID, right? And then finally check if our update was made successfully, right? So uh, this should basically be this, right? I mean, this is just a sample information over here. You can use whatever ID that you had given, right? I know that I had created a record for using this particular ID, so I'm going to probably use that particular record. Now, go back to your update and copy this information. Go to your CQL editor, paste it right there. Now, I had copied this information here, so I'm going to copy this. This is my ID and this is my division. And what are we doing for this particular employee, we are setting his pay scale to 5. So that is what we are updating as part of this particular statement. So let us go ahead and execute it. Click on run. It says it was executed successfully. Next thing that we need to do is check and verify whether our update was done correctly or not. So paste it right here. Again, I'm going to copy my ID, paste it right there, click on run, and the pay scale has been updated to 5. So this particular update was done successfully, right? So we updated our data successfully. So step 6 is complete. Step 7 is to delete data. So remember, we created the data, then we selected the data, that means we read the data, we updated the data, now we have to delete the data. First the data, right? And then eventually the table and eventually the key space after that. So what we are going to do is we are going to delete data for a specific cell, and then we are going to delete the entire row. And after we do the individual deletes, we are going to verify whether the data was deleted successfully. So now go back to your tutorial, click on delete, right? And copy this particular delete command. So this is to delete a specific cell, right? So paste it right here. Again, this is to delete the manager ID, right? Where the employee ID is so and so and the division is so and so. So again, we will leverage our data that I had copied, paste it right there, and this person's division is engineering. I'm going to paste it right there and run the command. Now, whether this delete was successful or not, in order to check that, we have to run this particular select command, right? So paste it right there, and I'm just going to copy this particular where clause and paste it right here. So I hope I got this thing right. Right, so click on run. And if you see, the manager ID over here is null. So this particular delete, that's deletion of data of a particular cell, was done successfully, right? The next thing that we need to do is we need to delete an entire row. So for that, we are going to again copy this particular delete command, go back here, right? And we are going to delete this entire row. So again, I'm going to copy my where statement, the condition, and paste it right there. The condition has been copied over successfully. So now, this particular record, that is Russ's record, should be deleted, right? So that's what our expectation is, and we should only have the last 2 records. So let us go ahead and run this command. It was executed successfully. Now, let us basically go ahead and verify that. So paste it right here. In fact, let us just run select star from so and so and see how many records we have. So run command, and as expected, we only have 2 records, right? Russ's record was deleted. So we were able to delete a row successfully. So we have completed step 7. Step 8. Step 8 is to delete a table and then a key space. So we have deleted data, we did it in terms of deleting a cell and in terms of deleting a row. Of course, you can go ahead and delete additional cells and rows as well, right? And now is the final step is to delete the table and the key space. So, and that will complete all of our CRUD operations. So to delete the table, again go back to your tutorial, go to cleanup, right? And go to this using SQL, and over here you see that drop table statement is right there. So copy this particular drop statement, go back to your CQL editor, paste it right there, and run the command. So it seems our table was dropped successfully. Again, to confirm that, copy this particular select statement. We are going to see if the table exists or not in our key space. Run the command, and there are no tables. That means our table was deleted successfully. Of course, you can also click on tables, right? And check. You can actually also come over here, select the table and click on delete. Or for example, come over here, select the key space and click on delete. So that's one option. The other option would be using the CQL statement, copying the drop key space, right, command, and executing the command. So go back to your CQL editor, paste it right here, run the command. It was executed successfully. Let us see. So it still shows active. So be a little patient, right? So it takes a little while for this thing to get deleted, or basically for it to get registered for deletion, let's put it that way. But eventually you will see that it will get into a delete mode. And finally, we have to figure out if it was deleted successfully or not. So it's still in progress. So let's see what is the status. It is still true. It's still in progress right now. So if you run the command a couple of times later, eventually you will see that it gets into a delete mode. It takes a little while, so just be patient. There it's already gone now. So if I run the command again, you will see that our key space is no longer present. So it just takes a little while compared to data and tables. For some reason, deleting the whole key space takes a few seconds, sometimes even a few minutes. So don't get impatient, just wait, and eventually you will see that the key space has been deleted. So we have basically completed step 8. And with step 8, basically we have completed this entire lab, right? So we saw how to create a key space, how to create a table, how to insert data, right? Read data, update data, delete data, and then eventually delete the table and the key space as well. So do play around with this particular service. It's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. You'll really like, just creating tables, just executing a couple of SQL statements, and let me know what your experience is, right? And hopefully this is helpful. This is it from me for today. I will see you shortly in some other video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.